Hey, all right, everybody, how's it going? Right then, so I'm looking at an article by here. It happens to be on the BBC News webpage. I don't just look at BBC News, it just happened to be the one that popped up. Just in case anybody goes, oh, BBC or whatever, because you know there's some funny people out there, they'll say, I only look at the BBC. I don't only look at the BBC, I look at everything, okay? Right, just thought I'd get that out of the way. Right, so what does this say? It says, electric cars, then it says, Lords urge action on misinformation in the press. So what this article's talking about is misinformation in the press. It's a bit weird because the BBC has got this article on their website, and the BBC is no stranger to misinformation in the press. So there we go. But if I look down a little bit further, it's saying that the government must do more to counter misinformation on electric vehicles published in parts of the UK press, a Lord's inquiry has said. Now, I think that the damage has already been done by the press. I think it's quite a big ship sailing, and it'd be hard to turn our ship around, I think, because it is so much misinformation out there. Now, if we go back, if you look at EVs and misinformation, there's a big long list of things that the old anti-EV clans say. They keep bringing the same things up over and over. Even if you send an article which dismisses what they say, they'll still go onto somebody else's comments and say the same thing. It won't change their opinion. So facts, no good. Facts out the window. It's only what they, anything that reinforces their belief is what they want to spout. So misinformation. So let's give an example. Let's go back many, many years ago, right? Let's go back about 14, 15 years ago, maybe. Well, it was 16 years when the first Tesla Roadster came out. Couldn't get my words out then. Tesla Roadster came out. I think that was 2008, and Top Gear did a segment on the Roadster, and I'm going to say it wouldn't have been till 2008. It probably would have been, let's say 2010, somewhere in between 2008 and 2012. Okay, so let's just say it was 14 years ago. 14 years ago, they did that a segment. Most people will probably remember it.
It's called the Tesla.
And Jeremy Clarkson, they were driving around and pretending they was conking out all the time, and pushing it back into the place they had it stored.
Although Tesla say it'll do 200 miles, we worked out that on our track it would run out after just 55 miles.
And he said the batteries only last 3 years anyway, right? That little bit of misinformation there is still being used to this day. The batteries only last 3 years. Now, why do people who are against EVs believe that batteries only last 3 years? Are they people who've never bought a new car and understand there's warranties on cars? Because car manufacturers now give electric batteries an 8-year warranty. I think that's the sort of normal now, 8-year warranty on the battery pack. There's a few stipulations. I mean, if you went and drove over a big rock,
it's far of us, tough guy,
and it went under the battery, they're not going to replace it because that's your fault. So if it's an accident, the car will get written off. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if the battery fails, for some other reason. So I think nearly all of them now have got an 8-year warranty. So why do people keep saying this 3-year bull? Why do they keep saying it? So there's a list of things, isn't there? You've got the 3-year battery thing there. That's not true. What's that? Oh, when I'm sitting here, I'm trying to think of all the things that they say, and I can't remember them now. But there is a lot, isn't there? Why can't I remember them? I'm having a brain freeze by here. They send me the comments all the time, and I can't remember what they say. Oh, I'm having one of them things. And about, let me just stop, collect my thoughts, and I'll be back.
I'm back.
Right, so you got the batteries only last 3 years. That's not true at all. The other one is fires. Now, it did say in this article about fires. And let me just try and find the fire thing on here, if I can. It's hard to try and find it when you're looking for it, but it was on there. And I think it was some woman, something to do with the loads. She said, we know that battery fires and other car fires are about the same. But most studies say that the, fossil fuel cars, they catch fire more. So maybe they're not doing their proper studies either. These loads. So you got the battery fires. You got the batteries only last 3 years. One of the biggest ones I keep getting is that, and this makes me laugh. This one does. It really does make me laugh. Once everybody's got battery electric car, the government are going to turn our cars off. They're going to now they say things like it's so stupid. It's so stupid. So you go. Here's an example. You go on the internet on, say, Twitter. It's not Twitter anymore. It's called X. Stupid name. Why didn't they just leave it at Twitter? You've got to say X now. Oh. Before you used to say, I'm going to give it a tweet. What do you give it now? It's not a tweet, is it? An excerpt? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going on a different subject there. So they say that, you get up in the morning and you want to say something nasty on Twitter or Facebook or any social media. You want to go, I want to say something nasty. And you say it and you jump in your car and the government has, looked at your tweet, whatever it's called, X, whatever it's called, and they've gone, right, that person's not driving today, stop them driving. Or they haven't paid a bill, stop them driving. Or look, they pulled a funny face, stop them driving. It's just absurd. Now, I hate to break it to the anti-EV people, right? I know they're going to be sad when I say this, but there's a lot of computers and stuff on ICE cars, and they're heading towards the way where they could be shut down by the government. Ooh. So in the future, this is why I think it's the anger from the anti-EV people is. I know I'm going on a bit of a tangent now, but it's mostly fear. It's fear. They're afraid. They're afraid that they're going to be locked down. They can't travel in their cars. They can only go they can't go outside the 15-minute cities. But 15-minute cities doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean you can't go outside your 15-minute city. It just means they want to try and have everything in your city that you need, so you don't have to travel outside that 15-minute city all the time. That's all it is. It's not some big conspiracy to have you locked into your 15-minute city. Because how do people go to work? Everybody's got to work in that 15-minute city then, have they? It don't make sense. It's just stupid. So it's always conspiracies all the time, isn't it? I don't know. So there we go. So we got the batteries only last 3 years. They catch fire all the time. The government's gonna have us, turn our cars off. We're driving along, tum-ty-tum. We stick our tongue out to somebody, and boop, they press a button, they stop your car. So the big thing they always say is, it's all about control. It's all about control. They're forcing us. But nobody's forcing you yet into electric car. It'd be like, it's going to be a long time before you have to get an electric car. Now, the thing is this. By the time, if you really are dead set against getting an electric car, right, and you hold out, it could be years and years and years before you get an electric car. When that time comes, that electric car is going to be a lot better than the ones you're thinking about today, and a lot cheaper. So you need to stop being afraid of things. Be a bit more positive in your thinking. So this I got on a tangent again, haven't I? So this story This story was action on misinformation in the press, okay? The press say whatever they want, don't they? Now, it's the Daily Fail have been the worst ones. They've said some absurd things. And then if you... I was looking at Daily Fail, this is years ago now. This is going back 5-6 years. You'd see an article and you'd go, well, that don't make any sense. And then you go down to the comment section and they'd all be there. They'd all be there saying, yeah, and agreeing with the nonsense. So, I don't know, it's like, when people fear something, they need reassurance that that thing they fear isn't going to happen, right? So this is what it is. I'm not a psychologist, I'm just assuming. So they fear that thing where you buy an electric car, right? They're going to spend their hard-earned cash on an electric car, and 3 years later the battery's dead. Ooh, so they fear that. They park their car on a drive and they think it's going to catch fire. Ooh, right? So they're afraid of that. So they're going to lose their car. They want to go for a drive, but they can't because the government said on Sundays nobody can go for a drive. They got to stay in the 15-minute city. Ooh. So, would it make any difference if they stopped the misinformation right now? Would it go away? It wouldn't go away. It'd still be here because it's locked in these people's brains and you can't change it. It's a bit like, I don't want to get political, but have you seen like Trump supporters? If Trump does something bad, they won't have it. They won't have it. They won't have it. If he does something that's absurd and you say that's absurd, they'll go, no. It's a bit like a sort of... I don't know how to explain it, really. Now, you could argue, some people could argue that maybe I'm a bit blinkered because why am I saying anything bad about electric cars? Well, when I'm talking, I am actually talking about the bad things that people say about electric cars. Do electric cars catch fire? Yes, they do, but it's not a lot. Do batteries fail on electric cars? Yes, they do, but it's not a lot. Is the government going to shut our cars down? No, don't be so bloody stupid. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The same as the story that was going around, well, it's going around lately, is that car insurance companies are trying to price us out of cars. What kind of business sense is that? I've probably said all this before, but I seen this article and I think some people actually, the only way to change their mind is to put them in an electric car, use it, drive around, get rid of their fears, and then maybe, just maybe, they might change their minds. Because most of these people, they haven't been in an electric car. They're just fearing the unknown. That's what it is. It's just the unknown is a fear. So what have I said in this video? Not a lot. Have I gone over stuff I said before? Yes, I have. But do you think, let me ask you a question. Do you think if the misinformation, now, if you're an anti-EV person, the stuff in the press isn't misinformation to you, you're looking at me going, what does he mean misinformation? It's true. It's true. It's true. People are telling me about water cars. Water cars, come on. I'm just going to fill my car up, my hose pipe. It does 70 miles to the litre of water. So an anti-EV person will look in the papers and go, what do you mean misinformation? It's not misinformation. Another thing is anti-EV people are going, trying to take away this word misinformation and say that the word doesn't exist. It's just a made-up word to go against anti-EV people. No, it's not. It's misinformation. Go and look it up. So there we go. There's an article in there. They're going to try and stop misinformation in newspapers. I don't even know if they can stop misinformation in newspapers because you look in the newspapers, the headline, right, is different to what the article says. I mean, and some people are just headline readers. They read the headline and they move on. They don't go and read the article. And then they go and tell their mate, should have seen this headline in the newspapers. It said, if you buy an electric car, you're going to have radiation poisoning and your toenails are going to fall off. I've started something now, haven't I? I've started something now. So yeah. There's quite a few bits in this article that they talk about. But I think personally, I've gone on a bit too long in this video now, but I think personally, what the government needs to do is they should all drive electric cars for a start, right? For a start, they should get rid of their fleet of diesel and petrol cars or whatever they got, right? And everybody in the government should drive electric cars, because people will use that as well. They'll say, look, well, the government's not driving electric cars, so why should we? I mean, that's what it is, isn't it, right? So really, if the government is urging us to drive electric cars, I will say this, then they should drive electric cars. There we go. They probably will, they'll have to in the future, won't they? They will. They've set this deadline, so they're going to have to drive electric cars eventually. Not to say that some MPs in the government don't drive electric cars, because some of them do. Anyway, it was a bit of a rant, wasn't it? I don't know if I made any sense, because I can't even remember where I started with. If you like this video, or me ranting or raving or whatever it is, then, give it a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Hi!